Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. My name is Dan Rosman and I will be your host today. Today is the 17th of September 2025. And as usual, let's start with introductions. I think we have one new participant in the meeting, or at least new for me. If you would like to introduce yourself, you can do it, but it's completely voluntary.
I think he was if you mean Diedrich, he was actually introduced when you
Okay.
were away.
Okay. Then thanks, Kashif. Done. We can continue with the reminders. So please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to have the project, then you can do it by looking for issues with the Good First Issue or Help Wanted label, following the link in the reminder list, or just filtering it by yourself. Quite a lot of these, and contributing and solving these would have the project a lot. If you think that your organization would be okay with disclosing the adoption of MetaCube, and you are willing to do that, then please do it by pushing a pull request to the community repository in the MetaCube bio project or organization, and then in the root of the community repository, you have to edit the adopters.md file and add your own organization, just like the others have done before. If you are experiencing test failures on your pull requests or on periodic jobs, if you are tracking those, and you think that is not related to the changes or your own change, then please create an issue in the related repository and link that issue to the MetaCube CI tracker project on the right hand side of the issue UI. And also that would be also help if you would add this flake or flaky test tag in brackets before the name of the issue to make it easier to filter for the CI maintainers. Related to incubation proposal, I think I will remove this from now on. We have been incubated. It's an official, it's official basically. So we don't need to track the progress about that, I believe. So I will just remove that also from the template. Okay, and what's left is that if anyone is interested about the statistics or artifacts or documentation, then please follow the links below or check out the GitHub org page of the project. Okay, I don't think we have anything from last week that we would need to continue discussing. I think we have not agreed to bring over anything from last week. But if that would be the case, then please let me know. And I think we can continue with the community working groups. I can quickly say mine is that there is nothing with the ARM, at least from my side, or the AI. Yeah, that's from my side related to working groups. And I see, Dimitri, you have updated scalability, but you don't have updates for that, and you have something for the artifact group.
Yeah, for artifacts, I'm basically just started with some testing of the feature in general, and I'm already hitting issues with key error. I thought I was close to that. I'm apparently not. So I'll probably spend some time just polishing the feature until we can have a serious discussion about IPA. But I do encourage people to continue throwing the ideas to the thread, especially I know Ricardo probably haven't seen this thread. So yeah, that's the whole status.
Okay, thank you. I think I can also bring up the thread here and copy that one for everyone to see, because I think this will be kind of the main discussion thread. This is the one, I believe. Yeah, the CI artifacts thread. I will add it here. And I will also add it to the reminders or to the templates. It's here. Just to have it pinned. Okay. Anyone else? Any comments, questions related to the working groups or something that we should mention for working groups? Okay. If nothing, then next one is the release team and the roadmap. Roadmap needs updating. I will do that. I will add the new milestones if someone else hasn't done it by now, but I will do it. You might have seen that last week, almost exactly a week ago, there was the RC release for all the main components. And then, yes, today we announced, the release team, that the new minor releases are out, and they are out since uh, Tuesday, but we were sorting out some of the CI stuff and post release activities. And thanks for everyone, especially for Kashif, Tumo, Adil, who participated in the release as reviewers or as part of the release team, and also of course uh, this release wouldn't have been complete without also the ironic releases that were done before. So Dimitri and Ricardo, thanks for those. And yeah, let's see how this goes. CI looks okay so far, but let's see how it goes. Yep. Is there any comments, question? Also, one minor question. I won't even write it down from my side, but how do you feel? One week for RC release, was that reasonable, or should we give more time for the community to play with RC? Or what do you think? If there is anyone who would like to comment on
Mohammed had his hand up. Oh, he left. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I have a hand up, but I had another question not related to this, so you can go ahead, Dimitri.
Thank you. My follow-up question would be, are we aware of anyone actually testing these RCs? Do you do it yourself? Do you see people doing that?
in theory, our downstream was supposed to do it. I haven't checked if they done it, but we have communicated the RCs with them, I think.
Cool, because we don't. And from my experience in the Ironic community, quite few people actually test release candidates, if such a thing exists. So probably you're the best person, or your downstream are the best people to answer this question if they have enough time, or if they do it at all. Because if they don't, I'm not sure we even should release RCs at all.
I think, but correct me if I'm
RCs,
wrong. Yeah, go on,
I'll just share my idea. So RCs are good for that reason is that first of all, it gives you some time to test and fix. And otherwise, during the release process, it creates the branches and everything. So it also gives you the chance to actually prepare your CI while the community is testing. And then you can release. So it's kind of a twofold benefit. Yeah, as you said, our downstream does the test, so RC is at least useful for them. And if there is any bug, then we can really fix it.
Yeah, I think I think from CI perspective, it was actually, I don't know if that was because of the RCs or just for the fact that we did it now first time in a way that CI was there by the time kind of the official release went out, but it felt much smoother. What it could be just because we now have a lot of documentation and a lot of automation around it that folks built during the last year and a half.
Yeah, the only difference why I said RC is beneficial is that our release process does so that once you release the RC, then it creates the release branch.
Yeah.
And hence, then it's easier for you to set up the CI.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm just saying that I also felt that it was better, more smoother, but I wasn't part of so many release teams to know the difference that what actually caused it. But I agree with you. Yeah. Anyone else? Adil, you had your hands up. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the IRSO release. Are we going to do any patch releases? Because now we are adding it in BMO and CAPM3, and this issue that we fixed related to this EPA-based URI. I think, yeah, that is only on the main branch. I think it is backported to the previous branches, but we don't have the patch releases. I just wanted to ask, are we going to see the patch releases soon, or what is the status on that?
I have no objections. If we need a release, let's do a release.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, good. It's typing down, and my browser is typing even slower. Okay, so these were all the topics related to the release. Let me see if I missed something in the comments or not. Okay, no hands up, nothing. Okay, so then discussion topics, and I see there is one. Was it from you, Shiv?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that I have started. Well, the issue was created a few weeks back, but no one took it. So I started checking that today. I have pushed a PR. It has actually failed during the first run. I haven't gone inside and then actually do the investigation thoroughly yet, but please help me out on investigating this if there is real failure now. So the second run is running. So idea is to just first push the node images and then also change the same in the dev if this is first of all passing, and then keep it running for a week or so, and then we will also push the CI image changes later if this is working well. But yeah, as I said, the initial test failed where the BM images were not coming up in provision state, so there might be something missing still.
Yeah, thanks for picking this up. I see, Pep, you have your hands up. Just a glitch.
Yes, so I was hoping to discuss about the IP address manager this time, about my suggestions for the changing the API.
Okay.
But I don't have the permission to modify the file. So if someone, I have an issue open in IPAM about this as well. So if
Okay,
someone...
I will go there. Nice. Oh, issues. And it's this one, right? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay. So then please bring us up to speed with this one.
Yes. So yeah. So basically, the IPAM consists of these three elements: IP address, IP claim, and IP pool. And Cluster API has added its own IP address and IP address claim types. And I've done work to make the Metal3 IPAM into a provider for copy, an IPAM provider. And I would like to take this during that process. I made the code base so that it can handle both Metal3 IP claims and copy IP address claims, which are very similar but have a little bit of differences in how they have named different fields. So currently the code base has kind of a somewhat lot of duplicate code, which I wish to remove. And my suggestion is to do this by deleting the IP claim and IP address CRDs completely from Metal3 IPAM and being solely an IPAM provider for copy using the copy provided CRDs, or changing the API so that the naming and conditions and everything are consistent with the copy CRDs, and that way we could or I could simplify the code base. And also in 2023 there was work to implement the copy IPAM contract in KEPM3. So I feel like if we changed the naming or started to use the copy CRDs completely, it would also simplify the code in KEPM3 to only supporting one type of CRD for IP claims and IP addresses. Currently, I've outlined some user stories in this issue, so I feel like when you are deploying Metal3 with the Metal3 IPAM, it's very confusing because there are two CRDs that are completely the same name, basically, because there's IP address resources and then there's IP claim and IP address claim resources that are very, very similar, but they're in different domains. So I feel like this work would also simplify this this process for the user as well. These two approaches are have their own downfalls. So basically my approach one, which is deleting the IP claim and IP address, would mean that it would be more difficult to use the Metal3 IPAM as a standalone IPAM. And the approach two would mean maintaining CRDs that are basically duplicates of what copy is providing. And in the KEPM3 situation, that we basically don't need the CRDs from here. We could use just the copy ones, but then if we want to support or keep the support for IPAM as a standalone IPAM, then the approach one is not so good. And I would like some input on this, like what would be the way forward with this project?
But thanks for the summary. I think this is something that we have to decide sooner than later. But I have only one question related to this. I don't remember what was the verdict with the pre-allocations, the IP pre-allocations.
Yes, that comes from the IP pool. So basically, how the pre-allocations work is that a claim with a certain name gets a certain IP always. So it doesn't really matter where the claim is coming from, as long as the name is chosen a certain way. So basically, the copy IP address claims, you can give the name the same way we are now giving the or how it's used in KEPM3, for example. We can use the IP copies IP address claim type exactly the same way we are using the Metal3 IP claim currently. So that's completely up to the pool, the pre-allocations and how we're using it in the bare metal host name-based pre-allocation.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is managed by the pool controller. And but
Yes.
then to have that managed by the pool controller. Okay, yeah, I think I get it. Yeah, and I think you kind of explained very well what are the two options. Honestly, if our own CRDs don't provide any sort of extra functionality or having the controllers for RCRs don't provide anything extra, then I also don't see what's the point to keep them.
Yeah, I think we are providing one, which is the DNS servers field, but I think that could be added to copy, or we could probably get it added to copy as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's only that one field that is currently different.
My 2 cents would be that then, first of all, make sure that we have everything, like when it comes to feature parity and even the field that you mentioned, you never know that if there is someone using that field. So first, we make sure that everything that we can do correctly, like currently with our IPAM, that is doable if we would deploy KPI IPAM. And then I think we also had a discussion offline that not everyone would be actually deploying probably the KPI and the KPI provider, but what if they are using Metal3 IPAM? So in that sense, we actually keep this open for a few, I don't know, few weeks, and then for a lazy consensus, and then we start working if there is no one coming back with any objection.
So basically, the lazy consensus would be that we remove the IP claim and IP address, or
Yeah, as I
Yeah.
said, if we have feature parity and every field is matching, there's no point actually managing two sets of the same code. It's just extra work.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I'll send message to this about this change to the Slack as well. So if anybody is using this IPAM as a standalone, then they can come forward and give their input. But if nobody comes forward with saying that they are using this as a standalone, then I guess I can start the work to change or start the work to retire the IP claim and IP address CRDs.
Yeah, I think that sounds good if you send a mail and also in the community on Slack. And the one other thing I wanted to mention that I think we will also have then the two cycles of deprecation. So when you do this sort of removal, I would think that we cannot remove right away. You just whatever implementations you will do eventually, you will need to first just signal that it's deprecated, or maybe here the best would be, I don't know if it's possible, I never done, but I wonder if we could put these the ones that we are deprecating behind a feature gate. So basically using feature gates in a reverse way, because I guess if we drop them, if you go with option one and we drop them, then we cannot just say deprecated, because we either drop them or don't. So until we have them, it doesn't matter if there is a comment in the code that it's deprecated. So then this kind of reverse feature gate would be interesting to check. And if we go the renaming way, so they would be renamed. But I think we are more looking towards option one, right? That's what we are all circling, that if the functionality is completely on par and we would be able
Yeah,
to add
the
DNS.
the only thing that I'm worried is that it's a completely breaking change, so it will break the existing deployments anyhow. So that's the only dilemma. How we do it is probably, we can do it in a couple of steps. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
And
and
also,
eventually this would require a new API release to like complete this work.
yes, and also make sure to test the upgrade scenarios. Like if someone is using these old ones and then switch to the version of IPAM which does not have these new CRDs, how it works out. So we need to have some kind of conversion or something in the code also. So make sure to have some kind of plan. How are we going to do that?
So probably because KEPM3 is responsible for creating the IP claims, then I think it would be probably in KEPM3 that I would need to implement this conversion code.
Yeah, that would help. A conversion code would help the CAPM3 users, or yeah, even if it just would just be that it detects what version of API we have and then use those CRs. But for those who deploy it without CAPM3, those standalone users who Kashif mentioned, for those, I don't know what we can offer other than something with the feature git that I mentioned, but I don't know if that would work. If that's possible. Or it would be just for a cycle or two, we would have the two APIs there still, and the controllers for both, and then we just say that from, like, I don't know, 1.13 or something, they won't be there anymore, or would be
Yeah.
disabled by default, something like that. Yeah, I think if you write down a plan, including like the scenarios for standalone IPM, MetaCube IPM, and MetaCube IPM with CapM3 together. If you write down here a plan, then we can review it and comment piece by piece, because there are quite a lot of things to consider. But yeah, I think so far there was no objection against your proposal.
Yeah. Okay. But this is good insight. I'll write this what we have decided in this conversation or planned during this conversation to that issue, and then hopefully I'll get some feedback if anybody has anything against it.
Just to reiterate for the recording, so we all agree that the like right now the goal is option 1 if possible, right?
Yes, that's what I'm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but okay. Thank you for the input. That's all on my side.
Okay, I will just write down a few things here. So first I will just add your topic here. And then we need replication plan for both normal IPM and IPM plus CapM3. Okay, and then the other thing was that we are in for option 1 right now. I think these were the two key takeaways. Okay, let me check quickly the chat. I see one chat message. Okay, so same from Kashif. He just agreed that option 1. Okay, so any other topics that anyone would like to discuss before we would go and do a short triaging? If not, then let's check triaging, the triage board. And we don't have much. I think there are about 3 different or three relevant topics. So one is coming from Dimitri. This running the cleaning before moving to available.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with MetaCube recently, and it found it pretty annoying that, in fact, when we call bare metal host available, usually in Ironic it means manageable. So once you request provisioning, it first goes into cleaning, and only then the actual provisioning happens. Which I initially slided back and like, let's change it. Then if you check my last comment, remember the potential reason why we do it this way. Because if like you start changing BIOS settings or run firmware upgrades before installation, your node starts alternating between manageable and available, running cleaning each time, which is also super annoying. So I guess that is the reason why we do that. But I just decided to leave this bug open until this meeting to give people the opportunity to voice their opinions.
Yeah. I mean, my only 2 cents on this is that, yeah, it was deliberate, and because it's documented that it's by design that if you have automated clean enabled, it will go first clean and then does the provisioning the stuff.
Yeah, the question is more like we do cleaning before we declare the host available or afterwards. Right now we do afterwards, which is not how Ironic does things. But I see now a pretty good reason why we may want to keep it this way. Cleaning happens either way, but I initially just started testing Metal3 freshly. I expected cleaning to happen right after inspection,
Mm-hmm.
and instead it happens right before deployment. And I guess the reason is preparing and all the stuff like bias settings. No one has any opinions. We can probably just close this as wants to.
I was a bit surprised, to be honest. I thought, as you described previously, that it happens after the inspection, before it becomes.
Yeah, it's not 100% obvious, is it?
But
I don't know, Adam, maybe you have more insights. I think we need to also check the expectations in downstream of this. Right?
yeah, I think the documentation just vaguely says that it happens the first time, and then when it doesn't specify that it happens the first time before or after uh, like getting to available. It just says that it happens once before deployment at the initial when you initially provision or deployed, and then after each deprovisioning or during each deprovisioning, something like that. So I don't think we had so far until now any specific request to do anything with the order of these cleanings. But I was wondering that as you wrote down that if this would be tied to preparing action, then with every preparing action, this would have results, and we will need to move back to manageable and whatnot. But I don't know.
And how often actually we are jumping to preparing? Isn't it once before becoming available and then while deprovisioning, or do we also go to preparing in between? I don't recall the states now.
It's possible to go in between. It's technically it's between inspection and deployment. And if you, for example, start modifying host firmware settings right away with an enrolling bare metal host, it's going to go through all the states normally. But there is a pretty real possibility that you have host in available state, and then, okay, now I see the firmware schema, for example. Now that I have firmware schema for enrolled host, and I know the values of actual firmware settings, I can modify them. And that is when a host goes from available to preparing and then back. If you don't say set image URL at the same time, which you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now I doubt that the picture is clear. Yeah, thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that if we would want to implement this, we would need a new BMH state, as far as I understand, to avoid all these negative side effects by tying it to the preparing state. So we would
Problem
have.
is not in BMO states, the problem is in ironic states.
Okay.
Right, so if available in bare metal host means manageable in ironic, which is the case right now, then before deployment we need to go to available, and that involves cleaning. If we tie available to available, then for preparation or reinspection, we need to go back to manageable and then back to available, which involves cleaning. So I guess there's just no good options given how ironic is designed.
Okay. And by the way, does this have, apart from like the architectural weirdness, does this have any negative practical sides for you or for some stakeholder? Or so is it causing any problems other than being like weird?
Naturally.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. From my side, if this is not a practical issue, or we haven't encountered that side yet, then I wouldn't really put effort into this. Taken that how much things we actually have to put effort into in the foreseeable future. So
Yeah, same for me. But I'll really like to see how Zen reacts. Probably he has a better knowledge of why it is purpose designed this way. So let's wait for him. Otherwise, I think it's good to just leave it like this.
okay. Anyone else? Okay. If no one, then I will just leave it like this. Then next one is IPA does not have the correct ironic IP. Yeah. So this is some sort of misconfiguration, because like in my deployment it has. So it's probably some missing config, some callback or something, but it's not. I don't think this is like a actual bug or problem.
Scroll to my patch, section called my patch. That's what confuses a lot out of me.
Patch.
Like, yeah, right in front of you.
Oh yeah, my patch. Okay.
So they're claiming that somewhere in our code we're hard coding external IP to 1.7, which would be a pretty insane thing to do, but do we actually? Is it actually a thing that we do? Because we shouldn't be setting external IP in the first place, and definitely not an arbitrary value like 1.7. I don't remember us doing that. I'm gonna grab right now, but
I mean yeah, certainly not 1.7. And also, like this is like not like Ironic BMO and is configurable. I think even from dev we do override this or concatenate to this environment file. So, and we certainly do not have these ironic external values, or at least I don't remember either .7 and or .150, none of this. But even then, if that would be problem, it does not happen by the default config, and the ironic configs in our repos are for test deployments. They are not like it's not a bug in either like the default deployment or one of our projects, or even in Ironic, it's just a misconfiguration, even if it would be like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And a probably good question is where this ironic BMO.env is even coming from, because that's not BMO, just checking BMO sources, and this file doesn't exist, right? It's probably generated by deploy sh, or but even there, I don't see any references to the file called this way. So where is it even coming from?
There is some .env file. I remember because, as I said, like we are messing with it in dev and was, so it might be called something else. But some .env, I remember that we are handling. It could be we generate that also on the fly.
It's
Yeah,
on the in the quick starts guide.
Okay, quick start guide stuff. Okay.
oh my God, let's give this quick start guide with fire.
Yeah.
I mean, we need some quick start guides. We can keep it with fire. But yeah, a quick start guide. I guess that's the gist of this conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe explain which the value actually has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it explains the numbers and these things. Or when I read it, that was years ago. That quick start guide. So I don't know, but I will comment here that. Ping Leonard, the father of the quick start guide. Then I think soon we have to discuss what to do with the quick start guide, because it's actually very useful to see how to deploy like manually everything and what stuff does and how a minimal setup looks like. But yeah, I think folks run into a lot of problem with that. Maybe it's just that, yeah, we would need to use it for something in our regular workflow as developers of the project, and then we would run into these and would be fixed because we use the devenv, we use the run local from the BMO or the deploy scripts or IRSO or something, or some people use Tilt and whatever, and those things are being fixed all the time because we use them. But I don't think any of the maintainers or developers or even the more experienced users are using that guide. So probably that's the root of these problems then. Okay, but quick start that thing, then let's continue. I think this was the last thing that I've seen, and I will accept this because that's selecting the MetaCube data template and per failure domain for the KCPs. The failure domains are not yet implemented, and Sunat is working on that. So I think this is fine, just that we have still dependencies missing. And is it's feature stacked properly, and then feature, and then what is this? Country. Okay, it's just slow to update. Country with. Okay, and then I will put it for stone 12, 13. Oh, let's put it for 12. Okay. Let me know if there are any objections to that. But I think most of the folks have not worked with F like failure domains in Metal3 context because it's not there yet. Okay, then run cleaning, then yeah, and then there is one more. IP pool with invalid exhausted range should be rejected. IP pool should be. Okay, so like a pre-check to see if it's even. Okay, do a sanity check. Okay, yeah, sounds reasonable. Any comments? So it's basically just to not accept impossible pools or ranges.
This may be a good first issue, probably.
Okay. That.
Because it's the small change to the webhook.
Yeah. And then this feature, yes, and then project will be roadmap, and on the roadmap, this will be icon thingy. Okay. Okay, now it's accepted. Okay. I was editing it manually at the same time. A good first issue removed. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, and then I think these are all stuff that are kind of inactive or frozen. Yeah, I think that's all right now. Is there any comments, questions, problems, or things that we should plan or discuss before I would close the meeting? Okay, if there are no other topics or discussions, then thank you for joining today. I think it was very fruitful meeting. We discussed a lot of things, and let's continue same way next week, same time. And until then, have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.